What's going on, everybody? This is Travis from Expert Advisor Reviews, and in this video, what we're going to end up doing is dialing it back one more time. We have one more video that we end up going through with Expert Advisor Reviews that wasn't placed on this page. It was actually placed on my Trade with Travis page, which is really mainly set up for live trading that we end up doing in the morning on TradingView and on Twitch. If you would like to be able to get a link to that page, it's actually in the cards that we end up seeing. But we end up doing it on the Sun EA. The Sun EA at that particular point in time was the cheapest EA that you can be able to buy with a lot of high performance. So with that being said, let's go ahead and see it, and let's talk about how well it actually ended up performing and why I thought it was a very good project. What's going on? This is Travis from Expert Advisor Reviews, and in this video, we're going to end up taking a look at a new Expert Advisor that has been out for about a year or so, and it's one of the more widely popular EAs that you can be able to take a look at on the MetaTrader 5 platform. And the best part about it is it's one of the cheaper ones that you can be able to get into. So you won't necessarily want to be able to use that much of an investment for being able to buy it and to be able to see how well it actually ends up working. Go ahead and take a look at the Sun EA and be able to take a look at that and click onto it. What we're going to end up doing in this video is that we're going to end up reviewing it. We're going to end up talking about what it does, how well will it actually end up working in an overall realized live market. We end up doing a full back test on it, and then after that, I will end up giving my review on if it is a hit or a miss. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Before we get started, if I end up providing you any type of value when it comes down to being able to review these EAs, or if you want to be able to talk about another EA, please make sure that you end up dropping it inside of the comments. And also, if I end up providing value for you, please make sure that you end up clicking on like, share, and subscribe. Obviously, we are a fairly new channel, want to be able to grow it. The only way that we can be able to do that is by being able to have your support, but we will end up placing out a lot of good quality videos on MQL5 Expert Advisors, so you can be able to get your own informed decisions, or make your own informed decisions, and be able to go from there. So also, when it comes down to this overall review, you'll end up seeing a QR code down at the bottom, so you can be able to click on that QR code and be able to go directly to this overall page if you want to be able to purchase it. Also, there will end up being a QR code of the FX Skywalker EA, which is one of my EAs, and being able to take a look at that, so you can be able to get an idea of how that works compared to this one, and its overall style of trading and everything else. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, the Sun EA, what is it? It is an aggressive multi-cycle scalper that is designed for the Euro-United States dollar 1 minute time frame. Each cycle has an independent sequence of orders with their own take profit and stop loss, and it uses a martingale system. If you're not familiar with what a martingale system is, I'm actually going to end up placing in a video, or sending a video that is going to be dedicated towards martingale systems and what they actually end up doing. But to quickly end up summing it up, essentially what it does is it tries to recover your losses very quickly based off of the next trade. So hypothetically, you end up placing in a trade and you risk $1 and you end up losing that trade, then the next trade that you end up doing will end up being $2. If you win that trade, you will end up getting $1 for the one trade that you just had for the second one, and $1 that you end up losing for the first one. If you end up taking a loss, then it goes to 4, then it goes to 8, then it goes to 16. So for people that end up having a larger amount of money inside of their account and can withstand those overall losses, it will allow you to be able to have your equity curve keep on going up. For people that don't necessarily have that much money inside of their account to be able to do that, typically I end up saying stay away from martingale systems if you don't necessarily have that much capital to be able to work off of. Now, once you grow your account to a certain level, then you can be able to use it, especially if you end up using it in a safe manner. But if you don't, then it can end up basically putting a lot of pressure on your account as you end up seeing a little bit of a drawdown. Now, minimum deposit on this one is $100. They use 1 to 500 leverage. We end up talking about anytime that you end up having a 1 to 500 leverage type of system, you want to be able to use a good ECN broker. Inside of the comments, inside of the description, I'm going to end up dropping in Osprey FX. That is the broker that I use that has high spreads or anything else like that. If you do not have a broker that has that, you can be able to click on that. This EA requires at least 1 gig of free RAM to work properly. Obviously, because it probably takes a lot of trades. It has the setup and the signals and everything else like that. It's going to end up being on its blog page. I'm going to end up placing in a link when it comes down to that as well. And this says that this algorithm is made for only MT5. So if you have MetaTrader 4, you would not be able to use this platform. You will have to be able to upgrade to MetaTrader 5 when it comes down to that. Now let's take a look at some of these photos, and then after that, obviously we can see some of the reviews are very good when it comes down to being able to see it, we can see that it says that this EA is amazing, only brings profit, and obviously we'll end up taking a look at that and having our unbiased approach to it overall. So we can see that it takes an active signal, and then after that has a grid-like function when it comes down to being able to take trades. It has an invisible stop loss, so you won't see what the stop loss is when it comes down to your orders. I don't know if there's a way in the parameters to be able to make that visible. I personally like to be able to look at it. There's a reason why people take it, place it in as invisible. They try to be able to hide it away from people that are trying to stop hunt or anything else. But let's go ahead and take a look at some other things. Obviously, we ended up talking about this before, I believe. It has, when you take a look at this photo, ended up winning over 405% when it came down to its growth. I'm guessing that's based off of the signal. The maximum drawdown was 30%. The profit of trades is over 80%. Anytime that you end up taking a look at a scalper, for me personally, for me to even consider it, it has to be able to be over 80% when it comes down to that. I want to see what the profit factor is going to end up being. It has to be over 1.5. If it's over 1.5, then I'm pretty good when it comes down to that. End up going from there. And obviously, when you take a look at this and download it, you end up seeing that more than likely it's going to end up having a orange border or orange background with red candlesticks. So if you're a person like me that kind of likes it to be a certain way, you can possibly be able to change it. But this is how it's going to end up coming out of the box. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get the free demo and let's see how well this actually works. I'm clicking on that now. And I'm seeing it showing up on the page. There it is. It has downloaded. There goes the Sun EA right here. So what we're going to get ready to do is open this up and take a look at it from there. Let's go ahead and go to the settings. So go single, go in here, go to the marketplace, click on Sun. We know that it's going to end up being off of 1 minute. Our data period that we're going to end up doing is going to end up being from January 3rd of 2022 all the way to where we are today, which is November 16th. So we're going to have a lot of data to be able to pay attention to. And then after that, obviously, we're going to end up placing on visual mode. This has 1 to 500 leverage. And for some reason, I'm not able to change that. So I'm going to keep it at 1 to 100 leverage. And we're going to do it based off of $10,000. So when we end up running through this, we can be able to have a better idea because it does have an auto lock function. So I want to see what it does when it comes down to that. Now, from an inputs perspective, it ends up having an initial lot size. It starts off at 1 micro lot, and then after that, it says the maximum number of active cycles is 10. I'm pretty sure that's something that you can be able to change, but I'm pretty sure that obviously there's a recommended setting when it comes down to that based off of set files or whatever else. It says that the EA can start a buy cycle, the EA can start a sell cycle. That is true. So you're basically being able to define, depending on what type of market that you have. If the market is trending, you may only want to have one of them working. From an auto lot function, it has balance per lots that you can be able to go off of. I'm guessing that's based off of your overall total amount that you have inside of your account. And then after that, it has maximum allowed spread, account size, or account type, ECN, magic numbers. And then after that, your equity, take profit, and stop loss and other things are basically placed in there. So one thing that I end up noticing right off the bat, it does not protect you when it comes down to overall drawdown or anything else like that. The martingale strategy does that. So I don't know if I will possibly end up using this when it comes down to being able to do a prop firm or do a prop firm challenge or anything else. But we're getting ready to click on to actually get it started, and we'll see if that's something that we can be able to change our mind on. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, so here we go. We'll go ahead and we have started the back test. What we're going to end up doing is taking a look at how everything goes. Just trying to get a feel for what's happening with the system overall. The first thing that I end up noticing is this. One, we can see that we're currently in a couple cycles when it comes down to that. Obviously, we're in a couple sell cycles right now. It has buy enabled, has sell enabled. Remember, we didn't change anything when it came down to the system. But from a display perspective, obviously, it's going to end up being orange and it's going to end up being red based off of how it's already set up. Obviously, you can go inside with the settings and be able to change it if that does not work for you. But from an overall standpoint of being able to take a look at it on the left-hand side, it is taking trades. I do see that there have been situations where there's potential drawdown, but as long as the equity curve keeps on going up, then that truly does not matter. I'm just going to keep on letting it run. you can see that it does have a hedging function to it, where it has a lot of buys and sales. But more than anything else, the one thing that I kind of appreciate more than anything else is that obviously when you look at the settings, it said they were based off of the M1 chart, but you can see that the M1, the M30, the M4, the 2 hour, the 6 hour, the 20 minute. So yes, it is based off of a 1 minute time frame, and I think that's the original chart that you end up taking a look at. But this system is a multi time frame type of entry system as well, so it allows you to be able to use it based off of the 1 minute, but it's scanning based off of multiple time frames to be able to find the best trade. So I feel better in being able to take a look at that if I'm a person that does not necessarily like to be able to be a scalper. But overall, currently right now we can see that the equity curve is good. Remember, this is we literally just placed in a time from the beginning of the year to where we are, based off of the time that we're looking at this on the chart already, which is a good thing. So just gonna let this kind of play out. I'm gonna end up coming back once this is done to be able to get my full review. All right, we're back. So we got done finishing on the back testing. We end up doing it from January 3rd of 2022 to where we are right now, which will end up being November the 16th. End up going through and taking a look at the overall trades history, actual results based off of just taking it out of the box and not doing any set files or anything else like that. We ended up having an initial deposit of $10,000, so the total net profit of $5,900, which means that the profit factor was over 1.5, which is one of the requirements for any type of automation system if you're really trying to be able to grow it rapidly, especially if you're doing it as a scalping or a hedging type of system. They end up winning over 84% of his trades. End up when it came down to shorts, ended up winning over 76% of his trades when it came down to long. Overall, ended up going over 80%. So it did meet that overall criteria of being able to win as a scalper, being able to win over 80+% of its overall winners. Largest profit trade was 96. Largest loss trade was 93. But the one thing that it did very well over time was being able to have a lot of consecutive wins. Consecutive wins was 169 for $226 compared to the consecutive losses of 8 when it came down to that, and $523. Remember, this uses a martingale system, so that means that if you end up having consecutive losses, then that means that it's going to end up raising the lot size up a little bit more to be able to compensate and make sure that it turns that loss into a win to be able to keep that equity curve up. So overall, here's my overall thoughts when it comes down to the Sun EA. One, will it work on live accounts? Obviously, I think that it will. We've done seen some of the reviews and being able to see that people have been making money on live accounts. Now, keep in mind, the market is a little bit different when it comes down to spreads and everything else, depending on what pair that you actually end up using, what broker that you actually end up using it for. So you want to make sure that you end up having a good ECN broker and being able to use their low spreads. You're interested in being able to learn what what broker did I end up using. I actually have it, and I drop it inside of the comment section so you can be able to take a look at that. What style of trading is it? Obviously, we end up talking about it uses a scalping system. Now, it says that it's based off of a 1 minute time frame, but we've seen based off of the overall back testing that most trade entries go from the 1 minute, 30 minute, 4 minute, 2 hour, 6 hour, 20 minute, 3 hour, and so on and so forth. So it's taking trades based off of what's happening holistically compared to just being off of the 1 minute chart. It just has to be on the 1 minute chart to be able to get started. From there, can you be able to take your money out and be able to recreate more? Obviously, we end up seeing that without raising up the lot level, depending on your overall account size, it's going to take a little bit of time for this one for you to be able to get realized gains on it. So you will actually have to have a larger account to be able to start off on it, which means that it probably will take a little bit more time. Would you use this for as FTMO or anything other prop firm? Honestly, by being able to take a look at it just based off of face value and trying to see if you can be able to recreate the overall money in a month and being able to win that challenge. Right now, I'm going to say no based off of that, but not necessarily saying that you couldn't tweak the overall settings or anything else like that, but just from an overall standpoint of just pulling out a box and being able to see how well it does, how poorly it does, or anything else like that, I would not use this in a prop firm challenge. And how much time realistically would it take for you to be able to get your money back based off of the investment? The best part about this EA is the price. It is $49. It's based off of one pair, which means that obviously you can be able to take it for a spin, and quite frankly, depending on what's happening with the market, be able to get your $49 back very quickly when it comes down to that. So it's definitely worth the price. It's definitely worth seeing if it will work. But keep in mind, you have to have your money and your live money in place to be able to really see that realized gain. So the more money that you have inside of the account, the better the return that you can be able to get over time. We've seen that the first trade end up basically taking or end up getting your money back based off of the first trade overall. But am I happy about it? Would it be something that I would use? Me personally, because I'm more of a swing trader and trying to be able to get a little bit more of a long-term type of gain, this would be something that I would use if I was just trying to get short-term realized gains and be able to have it inside of an account and know that I'm not going to look at it. If this is something that I'm trying to be able to say, hey, I need this to be able to get a monthly stable income, I probably wouldn't use it for that. But overall, when you're talking about 6 months, a year down the line, and being able to have this be able to grow, absolutely, I'll probably end up using it for that. You like what I end up doing, please make sure that you end up dropping inside of the comments which video or which EA that you would like to be able to have me take a look at and review on the MQL marketplace in our next video. But overall, out of 10, what would I end up giving this one? Depending on how you end up kind of playing it and what you're trying to be able to do from a overall standpoint, I do think that it is a hit. depending on how you like to be able to trade and everything else like that, this one will kind of end up being a little bit more of a long-term type of trade. So I'm going to end up giving it a 7. I do think that it has real live market value and being able to use it, and obviously for the price, you can't beat that. So we end up going from there. Like always, I'll see y'all in the next video. Let's go ahead and review another one.